So welcome to Carleton and welcome to graduate studies at Carleton. So today you are joining a university that offers over 100 graduate programs, master and PhD and graduate diplomas and certificates, and also over 3,600 graduate students, some of which are here. Others may still enjoy the barbecue that is out there. So I've seen some of my own students at the barbecue. I don't see them here. Hands up, who is with me? Okay, so they are still eating. All right, that shows the discipline of the mathematics students that are my own. All right, what can I say? Now, how should I say this? You are starting grad studies today. There are maybe two moments in a person's life where saying yes is crucial. One is when you get married, and the other one is when you say yes to an offer to join graduate studies at Carleton. Now, for the first question, it turns out that after a few months or years, maybe you realize it was the wrong word you said, but that can happen, okay? I'm not guaranteeing for this, I'm just saying. The ones who are laughing may laugh out of experience, who knows? For the second, I vouch that it's the correct word, okay? So you said the right thing by accepting your offer, and we are very pleased and excited to have you here and to see such a great turnout and so many people who made it over from the barbecue here. So this grad orientation is really brought to you by the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs that I, to a little degree, represent as the Dean. The Graduate Student Association, we have the President, Michael Bückert, sitting right here. He will speak to you in a few moments. And QP 4600, which means really it's the union for contract instructors and teaching assistants.
We have some of the best food on campus, and we have a great variety of craft beers. We also have a community garden, Kitigan Ensog Community Garden. We have a grand reopening this week on Thursday, so I hope you can check it out. It's a community garden behind Nesbitt Building, the biology building. It's open to anyone who wants a plot. Anyone at Carleton can have a plot. A great place to sort of connect with the land and to grow socially just, food secure lifestyles, I guess. The next thing that I'll mention thematically is that we offer a variety of services to grad students. So obviously this includes the health and dental plan, which there are information sessions later in the afternoon to hear more about that. We also have a whole bunch of grants and awards for students. For example, we have travel grants for students if they want to participate in an academic conference to support you financially to do so. We have also emergency grants if you find yourself suddenly in a unexpected financial emergency, you can apply for money. And we also have a family leave grant and a variety of other awards that you can look online to find out how to apply for those. We also have a grad lounge on the 6th floor of the University Center where you can come. It's a space where you can hang out, you can study, you can bring your lunch there. We have a microwave, cheap coffee. It's a place where you can hide from your supervisor eventually. And it's also got our offices there as well, and it has the cheapest printing on campus, as well as free scanning and binding services. We also have, what else do we have up there? We have a boardroom that you can book. Student space is at a premium here at Carleton, and so if you need space for, if you're conducting interviews, if you're hosting a meeting, you can book for free this boardroom space. Also, of course, there's a handbook, which is very pretty, and we're handing out at every possible opportunity, so please pick one up. There's a lot more information about the different services that we offer here. So third, I like to just mention that we also do a lot of advocacy work. We do represent you as students, and we do fight for your rights as students, both here at Carleton, but also at different provincial and national levels. A few things that we work on, we're constantly working to fight for affordable and accessible post-secondary education. The university every year raises tuition the maximum it's allowed to legally under law, and so we're constantly trying to convince them maybe to have a freeze, to have a reduction so that more people can access education. We also challenge rape culture here on campus. We have 2 sexual assault outreach coordinators that provide support services and outreach about how to build consent culture on our campuses. We have also been lobbying the university as well as the province to implement standalone sexual assault policies that actually help students and staff and faculty at Carleton address, I guess, to meet their needs when they have an incident like this. We also find that there's a gap on campus in terms of mental health services, specifically for grad students who face a lot of different unique challenges from undergrads, things like overwork, problems with your supervisor, a lot of things that really cause a lot of stress and anxiety, and it's really a gap on campus, so we are constantly lobbying to make sure that grad students have the support that they need. Additionally, I'll just mention that the GSA is a Local 78 of the Canadian Federation of Students, which means that we work with student unions here in Ontario and across the country to work together on campaigns, lobbying at different levels, notably for more funding for post-secondary education. So obviously we can't do this without you. There are a lot of different ways that you can get involved. So I encourage you to come up to us. We're tabling all weekend, well, all week, it's not even the weekend. I don't even know. We're just tabling all the time. So come and talk to us about how you can get involved. There are a few different things you can do. You can represent your department at GSA Council, which is the legislative body of the GSA, or you can join that Graduate Academic Caucus, which is a forum for talking about different academic issues across the university. You could join the Political Advocacy Committee, which does a lot of sort of the on-the-ground outreach. This term, we're going to be focusing on outreach in related to the federal election, which is on October 19th. We really want to make sure that students are out registered to vote and that student issues are at the forefront of the conversation. So if you want to get involved in that, come just talk to us and we'll get you involved. That's a whole bunch of things I've listed, and you probably don't remember any of them because you're so bombarded with information. But the last thing, the most important thing I can tell you is to sign up for the Grad Bulletin. This is our weekly or bi-weekly newsletter. We can't access you any other way. The university doesn't give us your email addresses. So unless we hunt you down in your grad offices in the corners of the university, we can't actually contact you about information related to your health plan or jobs and other award opportunities, different events that are happening. So please do sign this up. There are clippers everywhere. Come visit us on the 6th floor of the University Center. Come to Mike's Place and hopefully see you around this week. Thanks.
Okay, hi everybody. How you doing? Good, perfect. All right, so most of you have gotten an email from me already, I think. I'm Holly Gilroy. I'm the coordinator of graduate professional development at the FGPA. So I kind of organize this day. But I also do other things for you. So I'm responsible for everything kind of in the envelope of professional development and grad student experience from the FGPA side. So certainly you're going to get lots of student experience information and events from the GSA. But I'm kind of representing the FGPA side. So events like this, the winter orientation, I do a lot of workshops and training, professional skills. This year we hope to run a professional development event that is forthcoming. It's going to be very exciting about working in the academy, outside of the academy with a PhD, which is very relevant to a lot of folks who are going in that direction. So all that's to say, there's lots of stuff that is organized through me, and I encourage you to take a look. We have lots of good campus services at Carleton as well. So often undergrads are the only ones that realize that they have access to these services, but there's really been a tremendous effort and cooperation between the FGPA and these groups to provide services to grad students. So for example, you could go to Co-op and Career Services and get them to help you workshop your resume or your CV, and they can do that with you, probably by appointment, but check that out. All of these things on the list, but another example is health and counseling. All grad students and undergrads alike have access to free counseling services on campus. And we all know how stressful grad school can be sometimes, so definitely take advantage of things like that. The big thing that I organize is the Grad Navigate website. So this is kind of your hub for professional development training, and this is for all grad students, not just TAs. So TAs and non-TAs alike can take advantage of the training on Grad Navigate. There are already 40 workshops up for this semester that you can check out. They're in wellness, professional development, career training, everything. And they do, for those of you that are TAs, they do count towards your paid TA training as well. And often TAs don't realize that, and they only look on Carleton Central. So just to reiterate that, Grad Navigate is for TAs and non-TAs. All grad students are welcome. But then on Carleton Central, you can access training that's TA specific. But it all counts towards your paid training. And often the Carleton Central stuff through EDC is booked up and full. And the Grad Navigate workshops, I can't say for sure, but usually don't fill up. So you have a little more flexibility there. You'll hear more also if you're TAs about what this paid training stuff is. If you have no idea yet, don't worry, it's in your next session. So for some upcoming workshops on Grad Navigate, these are some examples of things that are coming up. So you can see they really cover a wide range of topics. The expense reimbursement just on the top, that's if you're going to be doing any research or traveling for a conference or anything like that and you have eligible expenses to claim. The system can be confusing at times, and this is a way you could actually get a TA training hour to go learn about that. There's also way down lower in the list, mindfulness. So that again counts, that's a wellness workshop. And so it's really outside of the portfolio of just strictly teaching, but it's your wellness as students and that counts towards your TA training credit. And it also is well open to everyone. The other website I operate is called Grad Research Link. This probably won't be as relevant to you right away, but it is a hub for grad student research activities on campus. So anything that is open to students from across departments, you'll hopefully see there. So if you, increasingly research is interdepartmental, between faculties, interdisciplinary. So this would be a great place for you to go if you want to check out a conference in another program, if you want to try to present at a conference in another department. You'll notice as you get settled into grad studies, often students can become very insulated within their own department. This is a good way to reach out and network with other faculty and with other students across the campus. All right, and that's it for me. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Lynn Moody. I met some of these students this morning. Hello again. And just before I begin, I'm a communications officer, so I'd like to just take a picture of everybody. This is such a great vantage point. So everybody go, yay, Carleton! So I'm both a communications officer and a recruitment officer, but I'm here in the capacity of communications. And because I'm so short, I'm just going to lower the stem. There we go. So I'm going to tell you how we communicate with you. And this is really, really important because there's so much going on. And I'm sure you're going to forget a lot of the stuff that we tell you today. So we want to help keep you up to date with things like important academic deadlines. We don't want you coming to our front counter and saying, nobody told me I was supposed to apply to graduate. So we give you all that information. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, our website, and Matthias already mentioned that. Grad students at carleton.ca. Geez, how can I forget my own website? This was revised a couple of years ago, and it was actually at your request. We had several focus groups with students who said, we don't get this website. So we sat down with students and said, what do you actually want on the website that will make it truly useful for you? And we also wanted something that was very user-friendly. So with all of the feedback that we had, we redesigned the website, and what you see today is the result. So people wanted to know events that were coming up and deadline dates. So there's an events calendar. They wanted to know thesis information. So there's a page that has a lot of valuable information for those people putting dissertations and theses together. Of course, your own department would have even more detailed information. Forms and policies, people are constantly wanting that kind of stuff. So there's a nice page readily available, just click on it and there it all is just for you. And we have an awards section as well, and that's really important because awards, well, everybody needs money, right? And the deadlines are often a year in advance. For example, the Ontario Graduate Scholarship, which is worth up to $15,000, $5,000 for 3 consecutive terms. It's a lot of money. And in order to apply, you have to apply by December 1st this year for next year. And that's the way most of the awards work. So if you come to the website, all that information is there for you, along with a whole news section that talks about what's going on that you might be interested in, about grad studies, grad students, FGPA, and grad research. The next thing is the newsletter. Please, please read the newsletter. You know, again, it's all there. It was set up so that you could just take your finger and just go, not interested, not interested. Oh, that looks interesting. and just click through on it. And then the most important thing is right at the very end, and that's called Important Dates and Deadlines. And it's all set up in sections and shows you what's upcoming and when you need to apply by. And the academic section, again, has really important information in there. So please do read it. I mean, it might take you 5 minutes to peruse it, that's all, but it's a read well worth it. It comes your way every first and third Wednesday of the month. And I send it out about 6 o'clock in the morning, so by the time you wake up, there it is, sitting in your email box. I send it to you two ways because some people have smart devices that unfortunately can't access the newsletter through the regular distribution system. So you'll get it twice, and it doesn't matter which method you use, just read it. We have a Twitter account, and we tweet out all the information that's in the newsletter and on our website. Please join it. We've got about 1,100 people following us now, and it's about a year or so old, so that's not too bad. And we do put all those important dates out in our Twitter feed. And we have a Grads at Carleton YouTube channel, and we've had about 65,000 views of various videos of grad students talking about their research, grad students talking about why they love their program, faculty talking with prospective students about why you might want to come to Carleton. So that's, and if you have something that you think would make an interesting little short video, please do come to me because I'm always looking for ideas. In fact, story ideas, very, very important because we try and keep you in the know about stories that are happening through all kinds of different departments. And if you've got some research that you're working on, just flip me an email, phone me, whatever. I'm always interested in talking about it with you. We have media training sessions available that can help you talk about your research, and there's a 3-minute thesis. I think Holly's going to talk more about that. Okay, the 3-minute thesis is a competition we do once a year, and it gets students who are sort of more involved with their research to talk about their research in under 3 minutes. No cards, no notes, purely by memory. But you know what? It's very prestigious and it's very wonderful, and anybody that's been through this competition completely appreciates the experience. We've had really excellent feedback. So, the video. I'm just going to show you one of the short videos. This one was shot a couple of years ago. It's a psychology student who's talking about the research that he does in the gambling lab.
My name is Travis Steiner. I'm a PhD student here at Carleton University. I work with the Carleton University Gambling Lab, and we look at factors that might help problem gamblers. We do research with the slot machines you see here. We do research with blackjack. We do research in a virtual reality that we had built especially for gamblers. Basically, what we're looking at is factors that may promote responsible gambling, so gambling within one's limits. We also look at factors that may underlie craving to gamble, so what drives people to continue gambling, even in the face of loss.
How would it work with this particular slot machine here?
Well, they would come on in, we'd have them sit down, we'd ask a number of questionnaires, and then we'd have them play. And we'd have them play for a number of minutes on the slot machine, just betting and spinning. And we measure their reactions to how they gamble. We can measure their blood pressure, we can measure hormones in their blood, and see what it is that's making that craving experience develop.
What have you found out so far with your research?
Well, one of the biggest things that we found, we've tested a responsible gambling animation. It's currently being used in casinos all around Ontario, and what the animation does is explains in layman terms how a slot machine works. A lot of people think that every time you spin the slot machine, you're getting closer and closer to a win. Well, that's not actually the case. Every time you hit the slot machine, every time you press spin, the outcome is completely random, not dependent on the previous one. So this animation, it shows that in a very simple style that anybody can understand.
Again, just a reminder, please read the newsletter, and if you have any story ideas, come to me, just lynn.moody@carleton.ca. Thank you.
Hi everyone, as Matthias mentioned, I'm Carol Payne. I'm a faculty member in art history, and as a longtime graduate supervisor, I'm really delighted to be here today. I know that the first few days of classes are crucial, especially for new grad students and returning grad students as well. It's probably a period when you're filled with excitement and quite a bit of trepidation as well. When Holly approached me, she asked me to give some advice to especially new grad students on the grad experience from a faculty perspective. And so at first I thought, fantastic, I'll tell them what got my friends and I through grad school. And it was basically this, keeping a list of all the art gallery openings where we could scam free food. And then I thought maybe you'd need something a little bit more substantial than that. So I consulted with some wonderful grad students who gave me some feedback, and I culled things that I've gathered over the years. And I thought what would be useful for you to keep in mind would be 3 key points that I'll go through in a little bit of detail. So think about connections, think about growth, and finally think about balance. And I'm going to start with connections because in many ways I think this is the most important thing. In fact, there's recent sociological research about the importance for post-secondary educational experience in human contacts. We find this certainly at a grad school level. With the amount of work you're going to be taking on, the amount that you have to read, the lab reports you have to do, TA-ships that you'll be undertaking, you're going to be incredibly busy. And it's very tempting to work in isolation. We know from a lot of points of view of research about students that isolation is actually problematic for you personally, and I think academically as well. So I'm encouraging you to reach out and make connections. Connect with your faculty members, professors in courses, your graduates, supervisor. Have conversations about your research. Get feedback in a casual way. Connect also with the university. You'll find Carleton is a really great place for activities on campus. There are always visiting lecturers, special events going on. These are often the kind of events that aren't literally in your classes, but they can spark new ideas, they can put you in contact with other people, and often really great research projects grow out of those moments. And then I think maybe most importantly, maybe most obviously, but you'd be surprised how many people don't do this, make sure you make connections with your colleagues, with fellow students. So this is a group who will remain your friends and your colleagues for years to come. And certainly having a good collegial environment in your department will help you personally, but it's also going to help you academically if you think of your group not competing against each other, but working together. So I'm going to quote here, if you'll bear with me, one of our grad students, Krista Brox, who might be here. Are you here, Krista? No? Okay, she's still having a hamburger next door, I guess. She said one of the most important things she would cite if she were speaking today was working together with classmates, I'm quoting her now, and other colleagues, especially when it comes to writing and editing papers. This is a great way to bond and build self-confidence in one's own work. And the sooner you become more comfortable and familiar with the network of people around you, the easier it will be to get into the swing of graduate work. I think that's fantastic advice. Make connections with your colleagues. The next thing I wanted to mention is the idea of growth. In other words, I want you to think about challenging yourself. And grad school is a place where you should do that, where you should see intellectual growth and personal growth as well. For those of you how many people are just starting an MA program? Okay, so you have to kind of sit down with yourself and say, I'm not an undergrad anymore. Not all undergrads are like this, but in my experience, some of them, strategically pick courses, and because they've got a lot of things to balance, They try to do sometimes the minimum to get the maximum. No more. What you want to do is really dig in. You're studying the things you're studying at this elevated level because you want to go further. So no more shortcuts, right? And for PhD students, this is a moment to start thinking about launching yourself professionally, either in an academic career or another field outside of academia. If you haven't given a conference paper before, now's the moment to think about doing that, to really think of yourself as a professional in the field. Growth also comes sometimes from difficult moments. One of those difficult moments is when you hear that horrible word that you never want to hear, but you're all going to hear, and that word is no. So everybody on faculty, every academic in the world has heard the word no. Something will get turned down, something will not be accepted, and you cannot let this defeat you. What you need to do is learn from criticism and grow through it and keep pushing forward. It's equally a mistake to say, they just don't understand my work, it was a great project. That's arrogant, don't do that either. But grow, and often the word no is a moment of growth. And you can, again, through those connections with colleagues, build up a sense of how to grow through criticism, constructive criticism, by creating, for example, writing workshops and working together. Lastly, I wanted to mention balance, and probably I would imagine this week you're hearing a lot about life-work balance, and I think both Michael and Holly referenced this as well. So we think a lot about how you take care of yourself, and that it really does reap benefits for you as a person, but also for your academic work. So things like socializing, making sure you protect a social life, making sure you eat properly, get exercise, and sleep. Does everyone remember what sleep is? Anyone? So honestly, people who are sleep deprived do not do good work. I can always tell when someone wrote something at 3 in the morning. Everyone can. So don't do that. You know, if you organize your work properly, you should take care of yourself as well. But balance also has certain things it means in an academic context. So balancing out your work will reap benefits as well. How many people are into PhD programs or working towards an MA thesis, doing intensive writing? So one thing people who write about writing always cite is that the best way to complete that major project successfully and without huge stress is to write every day, even for a short period, but every day. Usually I would recommend in the morning when people are very sharp. If you do that, rather than say a 10-hour stint once a week, if you do it every day, you will get through things. People who sort of binge write tend not to finish as easily and have to sort of repeat some of their work. So just the matter of striking a balance between working regularly and taking breaks from it will serve you much better than binge working. And if you're in coursework right now, you can sort of apply a version of that as well by making sure you've organized your schedule so that you're working on handling the readings at a regular sort of pace, not leaving everything to Tuesday night at 1 in the morning, right? And of course, when I'm talking about balance in academic work, I'm really talking about discipline, right? So balance in your life and balance in academic work is all about having regular discipline. And having that kind of regular discipline also means you're going to be less stressed out, less pressed, and you're going to finish things. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, but if you do want to know where there's a great, anyone want to know where there's a great opening for free food? So the Carleton University Art Gallery has actually an important exhibition opening on, I think, September 25th. It's called Walking with Our Sisters. It's a commemorative exhibition about missing and murdered women. And a beautiful exhibition you should go to. I think it's the 25th of September, and there will be free food there too.
So
So thank you to all our speakers. I think they gave you a nice overview of their own perception of the university and of what awaits you here. So let us all give them one more big round of applause for what they say. I also learned something. I think I should stress less and sleep more. So that is definitely something I got from your speech. So do we have questions? Not concerned with free food, because you heard about that too. Now that you have a lot of information, maybe one or two questions. We still have about 10 minutes or so.
And there are microphones in the aisles, so to interject.
So don't be shy.
Yeah.
I see an arm, but I don't hear anything. So
It'd be great if you came up to the mic.
if you could please come to the mic. If that's a hand I'm seeing, yes. Getting old, my eyes are getting weak, but I see movement, yes. I have to move this up because
Are we going to have a presentation about OGS?
a special presentation on OGS.
Yeah, and when?
So I think Lynn is the specialist on this.
Actually, Leslie Main is in the process of scheduling, so we're just waiting to get the classroom space so we can go ahead. So we will be notifying you as soon as we can.
I'm just going to repeat that on the microphone. So Leslie Main organizes awards in our office, and there will be a session, but we can't book classrooms until the class schedule is finalized. So it'll be up very soon, and it will be in the newsletter.
So this is one more reason why you should really check out the newsletter and see the dates, okay? But it is not, there's so much information that we cannot fold everything in the first day. And it wouldn't be very helpful because we would forget it anyway. So there are regular sessions that we put in over the year on various pieces of information, and this is one of them coming up, but the date is not yet set. So you'll hear about it if you, or read about it if you actually check the newsletter. Do we have any more questions, or is general happiness setting in? Or are you just thinking about either getting out and getting food, getting back for the TA orientation session, or seeing your supervisor and discuss your research? Any of the above, or maybe a combination thereof? I don't see another question. Here's the specialist on trivia.
Yeah.
That's GSA.
So he's asking about trivia nights. Information will be available on the GSA website, so gsacarleton.ca, as well as our Facebook page. I believe the welcoming schedule, I will just refer to it briefly. I'm pretty sure it is going to be starting this Wednesday, so 2 days from now, from 8 until 10 p.m. So see you at Mike's.
So we are now getting into the real deep questions. I need more. Just kidding. Are there more immediate concerns? Well, seeing none, then I see people putting on their hats, so that seems like they are ready to leave. I will just remind you of two things. One is at 2:15, this room, okay, for everybody who has a TA-ship, please come back and learn about what it entails to be a TA. There's great information on this, very important, so please come back, same location at 2:15. Afterwards, you may get hungry, and you may also... Silence. See, we talked about discipline. I can do that very easily. It's in my German nature. So I will tell you to just be quiet for a moment and listen. What I'm going to say is very nice, is that at 3:30 all this formal stuff is over, and there is still a social where you can, is a meet and greet, okay, and you can meet your colleagues, your future friends, or your present friends, and it's exactly what Holly and Carol pointed out. It's very important not to be isolated. It is an isolated exercise. When I wrote my PhD thesis, I didn't speak to anyone for years. It's not true, but almost. So that is something that works for some people and it doesn't work well for others. So as you can see, I'm not very outgoing and not funny, so that's why I tend to do things on my own. But it can be a very isolating, jokes aside, a very isolating experience to write a PhD thesis, because it's one of your, and also master's thesis, one of the biggest pieces of work you will do in your academic life. It's very serious and it takes a lot of effort and concentration. But you also have to keep your social life up, and you have to have a good network of people that help you when, for example, your research doesn't work that well. And in my own research, it's pure mathematics. If I discover a counterexample to a theorem I have been trying to prove for 10 years, it hurts. Okay, so and that's something where it's good to have friends, okay, who can also understand that and who are fellow grad students who know what you are talking about. I talked a lot to my cat at the time, and that's not the best thing. So please think about this, and please go out to the 3:30 meet and greet, the same place where the barbecue was, under the tent, okay, and meet people and start making connections, and enjoy your time here at Carleton. Thank you.